The greatest apocalypse in Earth history was not the asteroid. Hundreds of millions of years before the very first dinosaur, our planet was an alien ocean dominated by bizarre, armored killers. Massive fish with razor-sharp bone plates stalked the deep sea, while giant, venomous scorpions the size of wolves took to the land. Above them, monstrous predatory insects with massive wingspan hunted. In the toxic, choking swamps, stealthy amphibian killers waited. Then rose the gorgonopsids, the terrifying ancestors of mammals. But this magnificent world was destined for an apocalyptic fiery end. This is the epic rise and the catastrophic fall of the Paleozoic era. 4.6 billion years ago, our Earth was born in fire, a swirling ball of toxic magma and endless, violent destruction. Slowly, the magma cooled, forming a pitch-black basalt crust. Heavy, toxic rain fell for millions of years, creating oceans. In the shallow, hostile waters, the very first life emerged. Microscopic cyanobacteria built massive, rocky reef structures. But the climate violently shifted, freezing the entire globe. A dead, frozen wasteland that lasted for unimaginable eons. Massive volcanic heat shattered the ice, warming the oceans. The stage was finally set for a massive biological explosion. 540 million years ago, life multiplied. Bizarre, complex, alien-like creatures filled the shallow seas. The Sauropoda, hunted with 5 eyes and grasping trunk. A tiny, strange bottom feeder searching the sand for its prey. Hallucigenia walked on stiff spines, looking like a nightmare. It survived on a delicate ocean floor covered in ancient coral. Trilobites evolved hard, segmented armor to protect themselves. Millions of them scuttled through underwater forests of algae. They needed this heavy armor to hide from the first true killer. The giant Apocalyptic ruled these strange prehistoric waters. The Cambrian seas eventually faded into distant history. The Devonian period brought the terrifying true age of fishes. Massive coral reefs stretched across these shallow oceans. Here, the very first fish with deadly jaws began to hunt. Bone-crushing armored fish known as placoderms ruled here. They wore thick shields of heavy, solid bone over their heads. Both trilobites scavenged the muddy bottoms of ancient lakes. Their strange armored pectoral fins dragged through the muck, but a much larger, darker shadow stalked the deeper waters. The undisputed apex predator of the Devonian Sea approached. Doncolostus was a 30-foot nightmare of flesh and bone. It had no teeth, only terrifying self-sharpening skull plates. It could open its massive jaws in a fraction of a second, creating a deadly vacuum that sucked prey directly into doom. Even other armored sharks stood no chance against this beast. Its bite force could snap a prehistoric fish cleanly in half. Monsters ruled the ocean. A quiet revolution had begun. Tiny, primitive plants started to conquer the barren land. And soon, a brave fish pushed its heavy body out of the water, taking the very first steps toward conquering the dry earth. Millions of years passed, and the continents collided again. Massive, dense rainforests covered the entire face of the earth. Supercharged by extreme oxygen, insects grew to monstrous sizes. Giant dragonflies with the wingspan of eagles ruled the sky. On the forest floor, a terrifying 10-foot monster crawled. Arthropleura was the largest land invertebrate to ever exist. Giant land scorpions stalked the shadows of the rotting logs, armed with crushing pincers and a deadly, venomous stinger. Deep in the swamps, the first true land predators evolved. Massive, aggressive amphibians ruled the dangerous waterways. Amidst the giant killers, a quiet evolutionary miracle occurred. The very first reptiles evolved, breaking their tie to water. The massive amounts of oxygen made the planet highly volatile. Lightning strikes easily, triggered devastating global wildfires. The endless fires and shifting climate caused a massive collapse. The great rainforests dried up, fracturing the giant ecosystems. As the swamps vanished, the Permian period slowly began. A harsher, drier world that demanded a new type of survivor. From the ashes of the old world, the synapsids arose to rule. Fierce, highly evolved predators that would conquer the deserts. The vast deserts of Pangaea were brutal and unforgiving. Heavy, armored herbivores like Scatosaurus roamed the endless dunes, but no herbivore was safe from the ultimate apex predator, Inostrancevia, a terrifying gorgonopsid with massive saber teeth. The supercontinent of Pangaea created extreme, deadly weather. Violence and storms ravaged the interior, burying everything in dust. The rapidly shrinking rivers, bizarre amphibians clung to life. Diplocalus used its boomerang-shaped head to navigate the mud. Then, deep beneath the Earth's crust, a catastrophic event began. The Siberian traps tore open, unleashing endless seas of magma. For over 1 million years, megavolcanoes violently erupted. Billions of tons of toxic ash and greenhouse gases choked the atmosphere. The oceans absorbed the deadly gases, turning violently acidic. Ancient reefs collapsed, and the iconic trilobites finally died out. On land, the air became unbreathable, and the heat unbearable. Even the mighty saber-toothed predators lapsed into the toxic dust. This was the Great Dying. The closest life came to total erasure. 95% of all species on the planet went extinct. For millions of years, Earth was a silent, empty, burning graveyard. Yet, in this desolate wasteland, the Mesozoic era would dawn. Earth slowly healed. A strange pig-like survivor ruled the empty world. Leviathans was tough. It survived the toxic air by digging deep burrows. But the Triassic period brought new, incredibly fast and agile hunters. These tiny reptiles were the ancient grandfathers of all mighty dinosaurs. The supercontinent Pangaea was ruled by giant, land-dwelling crocodiles. Postosuchus was a terrifying monster. It walked upright on stiff, heavy legs. Hidden in the shadows of these giants, the very first true dinosaurs appeared. They were small, two-legged sprinters, using speed to avoid the giant killers. Heavy rains finally returned, transforming deserts into lush conifer forests. The golden age of giant reptiles had begun, the ultimate Mesozoic dawn. The Jurassic period brought a lush, green world, a paradise of towering trees. Giant sauropods, the largest land animals ever, roamed in massive herds. Their massive necks reached the highest branches, stripping leaves easily. Stegosaurus evolved thick plates and spiked tails. The ultimate fortress, Allosaurus, the lion of the Jurassic, watched closely, a fierce apex killer. A deadly game of survival played out daily. One wrong step meant instant death. Above the giant battles, the skies were conquered. Reptiles took flight. Pterodactylus skimmed the shallow, warm seas, snatching fish from the water. Deep in the oceans, marine reptiles evolved. The long-necked plesiosaurs, massive dolphin-like ichthyosaurs ruled the waves, a world bursting with life. Millions of years passed. The Cretaceous period brought a colorful revolution. Massive herds of triceratops roamed the vast, newly formed ancient plains. Their massive bony frills and sharp horns were the ultimate natural defense. Ankylosaurus was a living tank, covered in thick armor and a heavy club tail. The skies were ruled by Quetzalcoatlus, a flying monster the size of a giraffe. But the undisputed king of the Cretaceous was the Tyrannosaurus rex, a 40-foot apex killer with a bite force that could easily crush solid bone. The ultimate prehistoric showdown. The unstoppable force meets the immovable object. In the thick forests, highly intelligent, feathered raptors hunted in deadly packs. Meanwhile, Spinosaurus, the largest predator ever, dominated the deep river systems. A peaceful evening, 66 million years ago, the last sunset, a blinding light appeared in the sky, moving with terrifying speed. The massive asteroid slammed into Earth with unbelievable force. A violent shockwave tore across the planet, flattening forests. Colossal oceans rose, unleashing massive mega-tsunamis instantly. Vaporized rock rained down, turning the sky into a blazing oven. A thick blanket of black ash blocked the sun, bringing darkness. The mighty Tyrannosaurus Rex starved, collapsing into toxic dust. The age of dinosaurs was over, a silent, empty global graveyard. But deep underground, a tiny furry mammal survived the doom. From that tiny survivor, a massive new world of mammals grew. Today, we walk upon the ancient graves of the prehistoric kings. Earth has survived fire, ice, and cosmic impacts. It will endure. We are merely one small chapter in the grand canvas of the cosmos.